I do. You just can't destroy them. They were built so well. So, but yeah.
I'd love to say this is the only car in your collection, but it's not, is it?
No, sadly not.
Okay, what have you got in your collection?
I have a large number of small Fords in my collection, ranging from Escorts, Lasers, Capris, soft-top Capris, and Telstars.
Okay, so why this one here today?
So my first car I bought from a dealership was a red KA two-door laser, and it just brings back so many memories.
What kind of memories? Come on, give them away. Or the ones that you can that are G-rated.
Oh, no, they're all G-rated, but just, you can't beat them. Like, you know, you'd race people and they'd, get beaten by a little laser, so...
Beautiful. And do you drive many of them today?
Yeah, I try to drive them as often as I can. I drove this one down from Goulburn in New South Wales today, so...
You're a bit modest about your collection, because I can tell the people watching at home, a little birdie told me that there's 54 in your collection. Is that correct?
Yeah, that'd be correct.
Now, I'm not the only one to have done an audit on your vehicles. Is that true?
Yeah, I've had an audit done, and basically I haven't increased the collection, but I've rotated the stock. So I got rid of a couple, but gained a couple more in between.
So it's a shout out to your wife, really, because she's the understanding one, isn't she?
Oh, definitely. It's a large part of my life. And hers as well, unfortunately.
Beautiful. It's wonderful to have the vehicle here. It's a great part of history. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Wonderful. And we've got one more vehicle that I want to show you here today. Remember, this is the pre-show entertainment for Ford Australia's 100-year celebration. We will have the main show kicking off at 12 noon Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We're coming to you from Melbourne Showground, and we're coming over the back here. As I change over to the camera over here, and it's a big hello to Woz behind the camera today. These guys are doing an amazing job. And this incredible car is owned by Gary over here. Gary, come and join me, mate. First of all, thank you for joining us today. I'm excellent. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Mate, tell us, what have we got here?
This is a 2015 FGX XR8, not quite standard.
Okay, so first of all, 2015. For those enthusiasts out there watching, that was a very important year. Why is that?
Well, that was, I believe, the start of the FGX XR8 with the supercharged Coyote engine coming out as standard. So, and then they went 16, and then that was the end of those, and they brought out the last model being the Sprint, I believe. So,
yeah, the supercharged Coyote engine, I remember when that came out, and I was pretty excited. You weren't excited enough. It's not enough for you, is it? Come on.
Unfortunately, yes. It's like anything. Once you start playing with a little bit, enough's not enough, and it's in its current sort of state now of tune. It's just over 700 horsepower at the tyres.
Sorry, did you say 700 at the tyres?
At the tyres, yeah. So 530 kilowatts or 700 horsepower at the tyres.
So you'd get home pretty quick from Woolies when you throw the groceries in the back?
You do, and it's still got room. The boot's all standard. The seats are in the back, so you can still carry people around as normal, yeah.
See, that's the wonderful thing. As the camera guys sweep around the car, they're going to show inside the vehicle. Like, it's all pretty stock inside, isn't it?
100% stock.
Okay, but my point was the vehicle is in beautiful condition, looks amazing, but we can tell there's been a few modifications here on the outside, and you don't usually put your name and an Australian flag on the side of the car unless you use it for a few other purposes.
Correct, yeah. That was put on when we did the Adelaide Rally, I think in 2020, or 21. And they put the stickers on. It was kitted up through KPM Motorsport in Adelaide. And I've also done now a couple of years of the Geelong Sprints, Geelong Revival. And really that's what the car's really used for now. It's mainly just used for sort of track events, track days, quarter-mile sprints, and just have a bit of fun with, really. So, yeah, which it's a good car for.
I mean, the wonderful thing is there's a lot of people watching and they're saying, you know, it's great to see these cars in showroom condition. But let's be honest, something like this, it was built to drive, and it sounds like you're really enjoying it.
100%. Yeah, you have to. Once you get it to this level, you really have to get out and use it. So it's not probably the everyday car you want to use because it's not really good on fuel. So it's currently running E85, so it's a bit heavy, and even when I fill it up now, it sort of registers about 300 kilometres to a tank full. So it's reasonably thirsty, but that's all right. I don't mind paying for it.
Well, you've put it together so that you can drive it, though, and that's the big difference. What does it feel like when you're really getting after it?
Yeah, it throws you back in the seat pretty hard, and the main thing it just struggles for traction. So,
well, it's 700 at the wheels.
It is, and I've now got the biggest tyres I can physically fit, which are 325s, and it still literally spins the tyres through most of the gears. So, yeah.
It's an outstanding vehicle, and we're so lucky to have it here today as well. The people are definitely coming over and checking it out. Have you had many head turns here today?
Yeah, there's been a few people looking. I think they sort of a little bit shocked with the 4-point harnesses, and they sort of wonder what probably that's set up for. But as I mentioned to you, when we did the Adelaide race, my partner, who was trying to read the pace notes from the racing, she was getting thrown around the seat, and she wasn't going to do it with me again unless she had a little bit more support. So hence they've got into the car. Yeah.
Mate, wonderful to have you here today. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed this pre-show entertainment. That's going to conclude us for this event, though. Remember, we've got the main show, Ford Australia's 100-year celebration, kicking off at 12 noon Australian Eastern Daylight Time here at the Melbourne Showgrounds. It's going to be a very special event. I can't give away any of the surprises. They won't let me, but let's just say if you tune in, you're going to find out about a few very, very cool things indeed. My name is Pete Quist. We hope you have enjoyed this pre-show broadcast, and we'll catch you at 12 noon Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Tell me you only drive Ford without telling me you only drive Ford. I'll go first.
G'day, my name's Josh. I'm from Sassafras.
Hi, I'm Colin from Melbourne.
I'm Amber. I'm from the Ford Rangerettes. Behind me is my pride and joy, my Ford Everest.
This is my little ST. This is what puts a smile on my face every single day. Well, except for the wife and kids, that is.
This is our 1928 Model A Ford two-door sedan.
This is our Ranger collection. It's such a great towing vehicle.
I'm here with my 1961 XK Falcon and my 1964 XM Futura hardtop.
And this is my 1989 F350 Crew Cab Julie.
And this is my official Falcon XR8 pace car.
1969 Mach 1 Mustang.
And this is my 1966 original Ford Australia delivered Mustang. I've had the pleasure of owning it for the past 40 years.
Bought my first Capri when I was 17, kept it for 33 years until I bought this one.
My name's Lindsay Mole, an ex-vehicle development engineer out of Ford Geelong, and my favourite vehicle that Ford Australia ever made was the Ford Model S. It held several world records for many years.
Next to me is my very unique turbocharged XR2 Ford Capri Roadster. This is one of many Ford vehicles that I worked on as a Ford technician in the 1980s to the 1990s.
I'm a retired Ford engineer, and this is my absolutely fabulous and beautiful FG Falcon XR6 with the amazing LPI engine.
I just want to say happy birthday to Ford.
Happy 100th birthday, Ford. Happy 100th birthday.
Happy 100th anniversary.
Happy 100 years, Ford.
Happy birthday, Ford.
Happy 100th birthday, Ford.
Happy 100 laps around the sun, Ford Australia. What an incredible milestone.
Please welcome Auntie Joy Wandon Murphy, AO, Warrenjerry Elder, for our official welcome to country.
Wabenjaka, Warrandri Balak, Yemen Kundibik. Welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. I'm really overwhelmed to be here today. There's many a time on country where we have the opportunity and the honour to welcome people to country. To those of you that have not heard about Welcome to Country, this is about recognising the First Peoples, and this is a part of my father's traditional lands who served for this country in World War I and for all of us. Rejected at first, not being a legal citizen, however, no, we'll put that all behind us because he did and managed to serve and came back for all of us. Each of us have our own identity, and our identity is about where we come from on country, and that's why I'm holding these Manigum leaves. I'm actually going to invite Mr. Bill Ford to join me to accept a leaf from this branch so I can explain to you, to him and to you what this means. Can I just say while he's coming that I'm very proud to be here because I know Ford is working and committed to sustainability. And from what we've had originally, in traditional time, it was all about our people living on a beautiful country and caring for it. So I'm pleased that Ford are continuing. I'd like for you to take a leaf. Thank you so much. It means that you and everyone else that's here today is welcome to the highest tallest tree in the world. And this is manigum tree, which bears its wonderful leaves for our beautiful koala. It also means that you are welcome to everything from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. And we thank you for what you are doing and continuing to look after country. And before you leave, can I just say that my father and his two sons managed to buy a Ford Custom way back when, just after World War I. And sometime later in my life, I had a little Ford Anglia to drive my kids around. So I have some association there. But I do want to thank you. I do want to thank everyone for having me here today to acknowledge my father, our ancestors, elders and communities. And our language is the Woi Wurrung, Wominjaka, Wurundjeri Balak, Yemen, Kundi Bear. And you are most welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woi people. Notch Kanwa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
In 1925, Ford arrived in Australia, helping a country in a hurry get a move on. A partnership 100 years in the making.
I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you never change. And the bird you cannot change. Lord knows I can't change.
Ford and Australia. 100 years of history in the making.
Please welcome your host, Shane Jacobson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ford Australia 100-year celebration, history in the making. That is worth a round of applause right there. I am Shane Jacobson and I am the proud owner of that very Ford Fairlane there. It just clicked over 80,000 original miles. No, it's not for sale. Thank you very much. Had to show you doubters. Anyone else here got a Fairlane or is a Fairlane fan? Let's hear it. Okay, how about this one? How about the legendary Ford Falcon? Yeah. I'm going to ask that one more time. Maybe the mic's not working. The Ford Falcon? Hello. Now they're awake. Thank you very much. How about the Ford Ranger? Exactly. Like literally millions of Aussies before me, I, like you, love driving my Ford. But I have to admit, there's a few guys here who've driven theirs a little bit faster than me at legendary tracks like Bathurst and punishing rallies like the Finke Desert Race. But today, it's not just about the races. It's about all the hard-working people who've welcomed Ford into their lives, into their jobs, and of course, like many of you, into their families. It's about the builders, the designers, the dealers, of which there are many here today. All the people who made Ford Australia what it is for an entire century, 100 years. And those who continue to do so every day as we head into our next century. Generation after generation putting their heart and soul into that blue oval. Let's take a look at just one of these families, that of Ford Australia Chief Engineer, Vehicle Hardware and Systems, Cleo Paradisis. Let's have a look.
I always remember being a Ford family, not just because my dad obviously worked at Ford, but because my brothers were always building and rebuilding vintage Falcons as well. I'm third generation Ford employee. My great uncle was actually the first to get a job at Ford in the late 60s after migrating here from Europe. He was actually punching the VINs in the bodies digit by digit. He then, as was common in those days, helped to get a job for my grandparents as well. My grandfather was a machinist on the seat assembly line, and my grandmother was an operator on the trim and final line. They then also helped my dad get a job, and he started as an operator and eventually worked his way up to a supervisor and spent 20 years in the plant in Broadmeadows.
I started at Ford in 1974. I started as a young man of 24 years old, and years later, Cleo started with Ford as well.
I'm a chief engineer for vehicle hardware engineering systems. I started in 2004 as a grad, and I've been here for 21 years. My dad used to bring home lease vehicles, so we're always in and amongst those vehicles as well.
When Capri came out, everybody was excited. We're given the opportunity to take them home for a family to see, and all the siblings and everyone else. Oh, really? I can't believe it. I enjoy the family thing at Ford, that we're getting together. The feeling was that we're supported with the things we're doing, and we're given the opportunity to develop ourselves. That's very important to me. I still drive Ford cars. I still wear the material from Ford, hat or clothing, with pride.
I can't help but feel a sense of pride for the contribution and being part of the success of Ranger, Everest, and being part of the legacy that Falcon is as well. I feel a sense of connection to Ford, given I have a family history with Ford. Through those 3 generations and evolution of the work, the people, the products that we've developed and launched. Even though we've been evolving the Ranger and Everest product for about 20 years, I think, it's only really just picking up momentum, and really excited about where those products can go.
That right there is the story of Ford Australia, if you ask me. Absolutely. Great. And it's a true honour to have Cleo right here with us today. Cleo, it was great to see the obvious pride your father takes in the blue oval that, let's be honest, he helped build, as well as many others. And you can tell how proud he was that you were taking the legacy into the future in your own way. But I've got to ask, did you always know that you were going to follow in your family's footsteps to Ford? Did you know that?
No, I actually resisted at first. I wanted to work on aeroplanes.
Right.
That's why I studied aerospace engineering.
Right. So how did Ford lure you in, if you will, into what we'll call your family business?
Well, I wanted to ground myself here in Australia, and Ford was one of very few companies here who offered true end-to-end product development right here, and still is. And so that was really important to me, and I wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, well, you certainly are. So what would you say, if you had to hazard a guess, what would be your proudest accomplishment?
I have so many proud moments with the talented teams that I've worked with, but I think working on the first Ranger stands out as a real defining moment, because it marked a real step change in our capability as an organisation and as a team. And from there, Ranger, as we all know, has grown strength to strength.
As a what?
And we continue to work on Ranger here, and not just on Ranger, but Everest, and we've also contributed to Bronco as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And now Ranger is the #1 vehicle in Australia, and of course our friends across the ditch in New Zealand, and one of Ford's most important vehicles globally. Let's give it up to the Ranger team. Anyone here? Give them a round of applause, and if you're from the Ranger team, because it's an unbelievable achievement. And you must be thrilled to have been a part of that journey. I know you've got some more history in store for Ranger, but we'll save some of that for a little later if we can. Cleo, how does it feel to help shape Ford Australia in its second century?
Feels great. We have such an amazing history of innovation here. We've evolved so much. I'm really excited to see how we continue to shape the future.
Yeah, well done, well done. Thanks, Cleo. A round of applause for her and her wonderful family at Ford. Thanks, mate. As Cleo's family history shows, Ford Australia was built through both tradition as well as innovation in equal parts. And no one embodies that and combines better than the man I'd like to bring out now. Please welcome Executive Chair of Ford Motor Company, Bill Ford, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Sam. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. First, I've got to say thank you so much for making the trip out here from Detroit. It's fantastic to have you here, to say the very least. What does this centenary mean to you and your family?
Well, look, anytime a family member turns 100, it's a big deal. And this is a very big deal for us. Ford Australia has meant so much to our company over the years. And you think about all the executives that have gone through the Ford world, that came from Ford Australia, that really left their mark on Ford and continue to this day. The products have been amazing. I mean, you guys were the first to actually have what we now call a pickup truck with the Ute that was developed in the 1930s. So, I mean, and of course now you got the best-selling vehicle in Australia, which is amazing. So, yeah, this is a really, really big deal for my family. I mean, we're still a family business after 122 years. And I'm so proud of the fact that I have my cousin Elena here today and my two sons, Will and Nick, who are now both in the business. So we're going to be a family business for a long time. We're not just another nameless, faceless corporation.
I hope you don't mind me sharing this, something you shared with me before we came out here. When we're talking about 100 years, your mum is about to turn 100. Am I allowed to share that?
She is. Two big celebrations this year for Australia and my mother. Exactly. So, no, it's a big deal. And she's got, you know, she's like a walking history of the Ford Motor Company. Yeah. It's pretty neat.
So Australia's always been a powerhouse of producing world-class talent, hasn't it? Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I said a second ago, I mean, so many of our executives that, you know, have meant so much to us over the years, you know, have come through here. I mean, Marin Barella, who's here today, Jack Nasser, Trevor Worthington, Jeff Pilates. I could go on and on and on down the list. All great people, all just did so much for our company. And, you know, and the great news is they're still coming through. You have Todd Willig, who's here today, Kay Hart. I mean, we've got people from Ford Australia. Jim Bombeck, even though he's American, was down here for many years. It's fantastic. It really is a testament to how good the management team in Australia is, the fact that they keep sending people to help run the Ford Motor Company.
And we're incredibly proud to have them here with us. Many that you mentioned are here with us today. So what impact have Australians had on Ford around the planet, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, look what you guys have developed here. You know, the Ranger, the Everest. I mean, those are powerhouses around the world. I think, you know, we're in, 180 countries now with the Ranger. And the great thing about what you guys do here and what we do at Ford is we don't do boring vehicles. We do exciting, emotional vehicles that you can, like the Ranger, you can completely customize that. And I've seen, you know, lots of different examples of that here. It's awesome. So, you know, we'll leave the boring stuff to somebody else. We're going to do the emotional stuff.
And I've got to say, it was supposed to rain today. It only rained last night, so it turns out God loves Ford as well. Just thought I'd let you know. True story. Bill, there's no road in Australia without a Ranger driving down it every day. I mean, they are literally everywhere. In fact, you probably hear Ford Ranger here more than you hear Vegemite, footy and pies. I don't know if you've been to one of those games. I had a pie yet, but I recommend it. You end up looking like this. It's a great thing. What do you think has made it such a massive success story?
I think you'd rather talk about pies than Ranger, but that's okay. I mean, look, you know, the fact that it is just a really fun vehicle, and it's a workhorse, too, so you can use it either way. I mean, it's interesting, you know, in the 1930s when the first Ute was developed here, it was a farmer and his wife who said, we want a vehicle that can actually take us to church on Sunday and deliver the hogs on Monday. And so we developed the Ute, and now it's become, all these generations later, the Ranger. It can still do what it did in the 1930s, but it can do so much more. And I think, as I said a second ago, people can customize it and really make it their own in a way that very few other vehicles lend themselves to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got to mention pies. Just to let you know, I'm on 3 diets at the moment. I can't get enough food out of one, but that's my story. Now, I know there's a lot of talk today about product, and so there should be, but something that I know is important to this company is community. So just yesterday, you went to the Red Cross to make a big announcement. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Bill?
Yeah, so look, it's who we are as a company. We have values as a company that I think go all the way back to my great-grandfather, which is that we take care of each other, we take care of our communities, and we take care of the countries in which we operate. And it comes out in a lot of different ways. I mean, during the World War I and II, we were the arsenal of democracy. During COVID, we started making personal protection equipment, both here in Australia and in the United States, for people that needed it. So, whatever the country or the community needs, we're going to be there for them. The Red Cross is always there for people. So, if I look now at just the floods you're having in northern part of the country, I mean, the Red Cross is very involved. They're there. They're on the ground. They're helping. So what we did yesterday is we announced a partnership with them where we're going to be, yes, writing a check, but I think more importantly, giving them vehicles, and our employees and our dealers will be volunteering to help with them too. So this is the kind of thing that we feel is very important to Ford, that we have values and that we live those values every day.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I think I speak on behalf of everyone here and all Australians when I say thank you so much for what you do. I think that does definitely deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's as I'm sure you know, it can be a pretty tough continent to be on. At the moment, we've got people that are surrounded by, if not underwater, and then in Western Australia, we've got people that are threatened by fires. So it's a pretty tough place, and thank you so much for all that Ford do. Now this year, also a big year for the Geelong Football Club. I have to confess to you, Bill, I'm a Doggies fan. I don't know if that means anything to you. Go the Bulldogs. But it's okay. My sister and nieces go for Geelong, I promise you. But tell us about what will be going on down at Geelong later today.
Well, yeah, so, you talk about history. Ford's 100, so is our partnership with the Cats. And that's the longest-serving professional partnership, I think, in the world. And it's pretty amazing. So, and that, it's really, if you look at the history of Ford here in Australia, back when the Cats, we started working with the Cats in 1925, we actually had a number of our employees who worked in Geelong played for the Cats. Oh. Yeah, so, it is a true history together. So we're going tonight, going to watch the game. It's going to be great, and get to celebrate this 100-year partnership. And I'm very, very proud of that.
Yeah, it's 100, so literally 100 years you're celebrating both you here in Australia and the Cats. I'm sure tonight will be a big one. I hope they get the win. I've got to say to you, thank you so much for coming here today. I'm not just saying this. It means the world to us to have you here. It means the world to me to be here talking to you. Trust me, I've got a couple of friends up there taking photos while we're doing this. So please put your hands together for the one and only Bill Ford, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now, let's hear from the Geelong Cats.
Hi everyone at Ford. I'm Steve Hocking, CEO of the Geelong Football Club, and a very, very proud person to be sharing what is an amazing milestone for the Ford Motor Company and the Geelong Cats, a 100-year celebration. Thank you to Ford. It's just been extraordinary. It's been an enduring relationship, a partnership that's required a lot of give and take over the years, and also a partnership that has evolved over time as well. One of the call-outs I wanted to share with everybody today is just in 1999, Brian Cook and Frank Costa approached the Ford Motor Company at the time, and it was a really difficult time. Brian had just taken over, a former CEO of the club, 23-year CEO here. He'd taken over the club as CEO, and at that time, there was no money. And so the two gentlemen approached the Ford Motor Company and asked for an advancement in the sponsorship arrangements. And Ford approved that, and that kept us going. It actually kept us open for business and paid a lot of our bills. So there's been many examples of that across the entire 100 years. Look, from here, have a great day, have a great celebration, and thank you so much for the 100 years that we've had together, and we look forward to the next 100 together. We'll hand it over to Paddy and also Georgie Rankin.
There are many multi-generational family dynasties who have played at Geelong. The Selwoods, the Abletts, the Hawkins. But one of the very first multi-generational families were the Rankins. And I'm here with one of the descendants today, Georgie Rankin, who plays for our AFLW team. Georgie, tell us about your incredible family story.
It's pretty special learning about it as I started in 2019 here with the inaugural AFLW Cats women's team. That's when I really started learning how far back it went, more about my great-great-grandfather Teddy Rankin, my great-great-uncles Cliff, Doug and Bert, who all played, and then went on to learn about Cliff, who was captain coach of the very first Geelong Cats premiership back in 1925. There's two parts to it. There's the significance of being a Rankin and carrying that on, and then starting a new generation of female footballers that will get to continue out here.
Congratulations once again to Ford and the Geelong Cats. Wish us luck tonight. See you then.
Obviously smashed his head on the dashboard of a Ford under their incredible braking power. I will say it, go Cats. We get a round of applause for the Cats. Let's hope for a win tonight, eh? Just so Bill can see that. Love to see you get a win. In high streets right across Australia, you'll find a few key features. We know what they are: the local pub, the post office, maybe a bank, and in roughly 180 of them, you will find your local Ford dealer. For more than 100 years, Ford dealerships have been the backbone of our communities, and it's been about much more than just selling cars. Behind the dealers have been an army of dedicated professionals who have all worked hard to ensure the best experience possible for customers. To help us celebrate this century of service, please welcome Chief Dealer Engagement Officer Eleanor Ford and President and CEO of Ford Australia and New Zealand, Andrew Burkick. Yeah, hey. How you going? Great to see you.
Hi.
Welcome. Great to see you. Hey, mate, how are you? Sorry, mate. Sorry, crossing you there. Down there. What a journey it's been, to be honest, from Model T Ford to Ford Everest. Eleanor, reflecting on Ford's Australian journey, what does it all come down to for you? What do you think has been the secret of Ford's success?
Well, just like Bill said, I think it's really about our people, our employees, our dealers, and our partners that make our success possible. From the beginning, we've been committed to communities, as you know, and our relationship with customers goes way beyond simply selling cars. It's about understanding the people and their dreams and what matters in their lives. And this journey really begins with our dealers.
Yeah, indeed. Andrew, what kind of impact has this sense of connection had on Australia, would you say?
Yeah, look, our dealers are the face of Ford across Australia. They really are. And they play a pivotal role in making Ford more than a business. It's about becoming trusted partners who support their local towns and cities and just really being part of the community.
And Eleanor, can you give us an example of how dealers support their communities?
Yeah, actually, I can give you several examples. In Western Sydney, the local soup kitchen struggled to find a venue, so Power Ford, the dealership, worked with the Rotary to bring the soup kitchen to the dealership. In Townsville, Gary Lewis at Carmichael Ford heard about kids who were staying in a shelter that's run by the Red Cross, and it was hard for them to get back and forth from school. So what did the dealer do? He went and started picking them up and taking them to school. So this is just things that our Ford dealers do every day for people.
Yeah, don't they? Well, and we've got many dealers here today, haven't we?
Yes, we do. And we are excited that so many members of our dealer body can be here today with us. I'd like to recognize them. So if you're one of our dealers from Australia, if you would please stand.
Yeah.
There you are. Those of you who have been with us for more than 25 years, please remain standing. Okay, if you've been, yeah. If you've been with us for more than 50 years, please stand. Stay standing.
Wow.
More than 75 years, stay standing. Getting up there. And finally, let's see those dealers who have been with Ford for over a century. Woo. So we're proud today to have representatives from 3 dealerships that have been continuous Ford representation since 1925, the year Ford Motor Company Australia was founded. Tim Olsen from Davey and Olsen in Dungog, New South Wales.
Tim, he's over there.
Oh, there he is, over there. And Jason Greenwood from Arnold and Greenwood in Kerrang, Victoria.
Thanks, Jason.
There he is. And I also would like to acknowledge Lexi Murdoch from Murdoch Motors in Yorktown, South Australia, who she's... All right. She's not here today because she had a family wedding.
We'll allow that.
We were competing with a family wedding. I think the wedding won. So to all the Australian dealers, thank you so much for all what you do for Ford every day.
Hear, hear. The only thing we should have added, if you have worked for over a century, you should actually take a lay down, I think. Andrew, today is Australia's 100-year celebration, as we know, but we also have many dealers here with us from New Zealand, yeah?
Yeah, we do, and we're really lucky to have 40 dealers from New Zealand with us today, and a number of them have been with the Ford family and business since 1936 when we were established. And could I please ask all our New Zealand dealers to stand up? They're an amazing team, our dealers in New Zealand. 10 years running, Ranger's been the top-selling vehicle in New Zealand, so thank you for your massive contribution to our business. Thank you for your partnership, and kia ora.
Oh, well done.
All right, well done.
Ooh, bilingual, who knew? What do you think will be the secret to the next 100 years of Ford here in Australia, or down under as we're known over there?
Well, we definitely have to deliver vehicles our customers want, and the experience is to help them take that whole journey with us further. Our customers have been integrated into our vehicles and then put them in their daily lives, and whether it's a job site or on a weekend or a road trip with families, Australians use their vehicles to help build the Great Ocean Road, the Sydney Bridge, and the Opera House. So we want to keep the customers connected with great vehicles, digital experiences, and a strong dealer network to back them up. So we're committed to serving our customers, strengthening our communities, and building our shared legacy in a way that the future generations can be very proud of. And to all of our employees, retirees, and fans here today, your loyalty means so much to us. Not every company has a story to tell quite like Ford. And that's because we all wrote this together, and we'll continue to do so into the next century. So thank you very much. That was great.
Oh, pleasure. Here. So, Andrew, 100 years is looking in the rear vision mirror. Let's look out the front window. What's next in the story?
Well, there is definitely a story. There's a lot going on. And if you look at one particular example, to capitalise on the range of Super Duty, we're working with a number of dealers to invest in additional service points to meet the needs of our customers. And a lot of those are going to be in more rural or remote areas where some of the customers are. So we're going to really push into that space. And as we continue to invest also into our fleet business, this is an area where we believe our franchise is strong today, and we know there are further opportunities, so we're looking forward to exploring that. What we know about our fleet customers is that they really want bespoke solutions. And that's why we'll be launching Ford Pro Converter later this year. And our dealers will work with Ford Pro Converters to build upfitting solutions that provide customers and their workers the right tools. We will connect customers with Ford-certified conversion specialists delivering high-quality upfitting solutions, whether they be a big or a small business. And Ford Pro will deliver what they need, making the process easier than ever.
Yeah,
and all backed by Ford.
Yeah, of course, amazing. Can you give us some examples of customers who might benefit from all this?
Yeah, well, we've had a number of examples, and we've kicked this off with a small number of partners already, and we're looking at converting ranges being used by the Victoria Police. And we're also we're really looking forward to working with our customers and our dealers to build solutions to get the job done and very much keep our customers on the road. It's all about uptime, and that's something that we're going to certainly concentrate on.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, can we get a round of applause? Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Eleanor, for making this journey and for your advocacy with the Australian Dealer Network. Thank you so much. Now, when you talk history, there is one particular vehicle that inspired a generation of Aussie motorists and changed forever how we view ourselves and our country. We're talking about, of course, the mighty Ford Falcon.
Iconic. It's a word that gets bandied around a lot. But it's true of the Falcon. It was our car. Made for Australians, by Australians. But it was more than just a car to us. It was family holidays, Dad's pride and joy, how we made a living, and the tribe we belonged to. It was performance, muscle, and style. It brought tears and joy. Yeah, we made the Falcon, but it helped make Australia too. Ford Falcon, an Australian icon.
Oh, yeah. Hoopa! If it's a rockin', you know the rest. What a cast of Falcons, generations of fast muscle for the masses. Please welcome Peter Robinson, former Wheels editor, and Steve Crosby, Ford IMG Product Development Director. Round of applause, here they come. Here's Pete. Hi, mate. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Hey, mate. How are you, mate? You're great. Come over here. Take a posy right here with us. Look at that. We'll just let these cars pull up. What a beautiful display of cars. Now, Peter, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Peter, you were there at the beginning of Falcon. How does it feel to see so many generations out here today?
It's bloody exciting. The Falcon became a legendary Australian car after, let's be frank, a troubled beginning. It was designed, engineered and built in Australia to suit our conditions. I drove my first Falcon in 1963 at the launch and have driven every model since then.
I was -7 then, just so you know. Do you have a favourite? I've got to ask. We all do. Do you have a favourite?
Well, I think the BA XR6. It was there was no compromise with that car. It was a terrific car. It was an excellent piece of engineering and a great car to drive. I also have a favourite that goes back further, the XR-GT. It was more refined than the XT-GT. It was more refined than the XR, and it had a balance that the GTHOs didn't have. The very first, the XK, we have here. That's not an XK. We don't have, somewhere I've seen an XK.
That's one of them.
Was the right long-term choice for Ford. Charlie Smith went to Detroit. He had to choose between the British Zephyr and the US Falcon, the first compact Ford. And fortunately for Australian buyers, they chose the Falcon.
Yeah, here. Steve, products like Ranger and Everest really built on the ingenuity of the Falcon, I think is fair to say. But how did a nimble, large car built for a small market leave such a huge legacy?
Well, Falcon was a big car for a big country. It was locally developed for our conditions. It had the ride, the handling, the safety, and the suspension to cover punishing distances from the city to the outback. Our engineers did a lot with a little and continued to develop the Falcon and innovate through its each 7 generations, improving performance, crash safety, economy and comfort. The thing I love about Falcon, it was about being part of who Australia is. It's the emotive connection through some of our great products. First it was the GTs, but then we created more products that engage people's imaginations.
And I've got to say how happy I am to see that we've actually got two people here that look exactly like everyone that drove through the western suburbs right near my house. So it's going well. And there were also, I guess you could say, so many Falcon firsts, weren't there?
So many.
Oh, yeah.
The first Australian car with seatbelt mounting points in 1962. The introduction of front disc brakes as standard on Falcon 500 models in 1973. The first mainstream vehicle available with ABS brakes in 1992. And Shane, the list just goes on.
Yeah, doesn't it what? And also, the Falcon also formed the base for the first long wheelbase in Australia, the Z8 Fairlane, which is a close cousin to my ZD, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
No.
you know it is. And another thing is...
And Falcon, another fact, and Falcon even had the RTVU, an off-road focused higher riding ute with the robustness and the innovation that paved the way to be able to develop such renowned vehicles as now our Ranger and Everest today.
Yeah, done. So, Peter, the Falcon story isn't just the cars. It's the enthusiasts, the drivers, the families. I mean, you've written about this stuff a million times. The road trips, beach holidays, first dates, if you will. And on race day, everyone was watching Falcon versus Holden head-to-head, of course. And that's a memory for all of us. How important was the blue versus red rivalry, and do you think it still exists today?
Well, it was extraordinarily important. And I think among enthusiasts, this rivalry still exists, but in a wholly different way. More importantly, there's still a strong emotional connection to these Australian-built cars. You can see that here today, everywhere. When I tested the later Falcons, I always came away with an overwhelming feeling from the driving experience that it was a car designed for Australian roads. And I think that's a real tribute to the men and women who designed, engineered and built the cars for Australia.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you to both of you for celebrating this legendary car with us. Can we get a round of applause? Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Take it easy. Well, speaking of legends, are you ready to meet one now? Yeah, is the answer. Of course it is. This man is an icon of motorsport, known as Ford's #1 son, who is coming up to his 45th year racing with Ford. And we are so honoured to have him here today. He's one of my favourite drivers ever to have driven a Ford. But let's look back at a famous moment from 1980 when this champion racer's True Blue Falcon met a boulder at Bathurst and created Ford Supercars history.
I just couldn't believe my bloody eyes with these galoots up there that just throw boulders. Like, it was enormous.
Dick, our switchboards around Australia have been jammed with people who have wanted really to do something to keep you racing. We understand the budget that has been consumed and the what happened on top of the mountain that has prevented you from continuing on in the race. And we've also had a call from Edsel Ford. And Edsel Ford has agreed to match on behalf of the Ford Motor Company, dollar for dollar, any money donated by viewers of Channel 7 to the Dick Johnson racing team.
Well, Mike, that's, to me, is unbelievable, because I don't know exactly what to say, because something like this has never happened to me before. And certainly, in the first instance, I hope it never has to happen again.
Oh, yeah. What's that noise I hear? What's that noise I hear? I have a feeling we're not going to see one Aussie legend, we're about to see two, because that is the unmistakable sound of the True Blue Falcon. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it a round of applause as he comes in. Oh, yeah. Welcome the legendary Ford racer, Dick Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Right. It's so good to have you here, mate. How good to see that. It turns out if there's not a boulder, that thing doesn't stop, so you've proven that. Dick, it's just such an honour to have you here today. True Blues, it's looking better, Nick, now than it did that day. Mate, as we saw in that video, I've not seen, because that's the actual Channel 7 footage that they got a hold of. I don't know when the last time was you saw that. But it really was the incident that brought the whole country together, both red and blue-blooded. And what an incredible response from the Australian motorsport fans and from Ford, of course. $144,000, a lot of money now, but an enormous amount of money back then, wasn't it, mate? And since then you haven't looked back. Let's be honest. Dick, we could see in your eyes there that your eyes were welling up. It was emotional. What was that moment like?
Look, it was a very different time, I can assure you, because we'd sort of stuck everything into that and it all came apart pretty quick. But with the help of all those people that donated and certainly Edsel to come along and say, you know, we'll match it 1 for 1 was extremely special, and that's really what kicked us off. But I think the thing that really gets to me is it put an awful lot of pressure on us because we came back the next year and won our first championship and Bathurst, so that really made me feel good.
Yeah, well, talk about feeling good. Mate, this is not part of the script, but I have to say it, and I've told you this once before, but I want to share it with everyone. You were my favourite driver by far because you were the two things I wanted to be, a race car driver and a comedian. And again, this is not scripted, but tell me from who remembers when they'd cross to you and talk to you during the race and you would tell jokes? I mean, I'd love to talk about what you called an electrical problem. It was when the Conrod went through the alternator. I mean, you would just remember you said it was an electrical problem.
Well, yeah, well, you know, you have those sort of issues in motorsport. But,
for anyone that doesn't remember, at one point they said what was wrong with the car, and he said it was an electrical issue. The Conrod went through the alternator. I spat my beer at the TV. I was drinking beer. I was only about 6 when it happened, but we used to drink. That's how I keep this amazing figure. Now, a few weeks ago, you were in North Carolina to receive the Spirit of Ford Award. For those that don't know, it is the highest honour Ford Motor Company gives to those people in racing who have made a significant contribution to sport, which you most certainly have, both on and off the racetrack. I kind of feel like all of Australia was with you in that moment. What was that moment like?
it was pretty special because it was presented to me by Edsel, who was the guy who really set us in the right direction, fortunately in financial terms. But because, you know, this year's the 50th year I've been with Ford, and we've always prided ourselves as a team in having very long-term agreements with people, and we're very loyal. And even to the point where it's coming up to 60 years with Shell. So
yeah,
it's a fair old, and I'm getting too old now to sort of go any further. But
and you still drive better than I do.
Well, I still got a licence, even though you've got to go through all the bullshit these days to get it.
Told you it was unscripted. And hello to all our Vic Poll members who are here today. But we all agree with you. What a journey it's been for you, mate. Let's go through it. Like 3 Bathurst 1000 titles, 5 Australian Touring Car Championships, and the victories just keep coming for Dick Johnson Racing, I mean, don't they?
Well, I think we're on the start of a new era now too, so we're going to have an awful lot more coming forward, and we're extremely pleased with the team we've got at the moment, and we're really looking forward to an awful lot more success in the future.
Well, it gets bandied around a lot. We've heard this term so many times. I mean, sports do it all the time. They call people legends. But I think everyone here would agree this man is sincerely a proper legend of not just Australian motorsport, of Australia. Mate, I think the world of you. You know that. Thank you so much.
Dano, all the best, mate.
So glad to have you, mate. Thank you. Dick Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. If my 10-year-old self is watching right now, I just hugged Dick Johnson. Sorry, that just happened. I don't know. It's all right. It's good. Got it. It's all out of me. Let's see what Dick Johnson Racing and other motorsport teams are doing out there today in Mustangs, Rangers and beyond, on the track and off the road.
Racing has been in our blood since the beginning. Before Henry Ford mass-produced cars, he raced them. Driven by his passion to win. In 1963, Ford made history at Bathurst. We conquered the mountain again, and again, and again. The harder we raced, the faster our rivals chased. as we went into battle for our Ford fans. From the dirt to the track and everything in between. Round the clock and across the globe. But while rivalries have changed, our passion to win has not. Winning is in our DNA. It's what we do best, and we are not done yet.
Oh, yeah, we're joined by some legends here. Let's give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Great line.
With me is Will Ford, General Manager of Ford Performance, and we've also got many of the top Mustang racers right here. Let's welcome Will and Brodie from Dick Johnson Racing. Keep the applause going. Cam and Thomas from Tickford Racing. Matty and Kai from Grove Racing. Aaron and James from Blanchard Racing Team. And don't forget Chaz and Ryan from Walkinshaw and Andretti United, who are getting ready to race at Phillip Island tomorrow, believe it or not. Will, how does it feel to have 5 great teams racing Mustang?
Oh, it's awesome. We're so proud of all of our Supercars partners and the way they honor our racing spirit at Ford Motor Company. You know, Mustang, it's built for thrill and it's built for fun, and it's awesome to see these guys pushing the V8 to the limit every single weekend.
Yeah, well, normally these guys only get together to trade paint at 300 kilometres per hour. But they're all united by a common love of racing the Mustang across the finish line. Just have a look at what Cam here pulled off at this year's Sydney 500. Let's take a look.
He's only got 2 spots now. He's got over the hill and into turn 8. He's not close enough to put a move on here, but he does come off turn 8 better than Feeney. Can he fire down at the Mostert spot and get into the last corner on the inside?
They're wearing each other's cars at the moment through turn 8 for the very last time. Brock Feeney is our leader. It will be a desperate lunge by Waters when they get up to the final couple of corners. There is nothing in it. And he gets right onto the rear bumper again and tries to get up the inside. It's going to be on, it's going to be on, it's going to be on. He goes down the inside. This is an extraordinary conclusion to this motor race. I think that Feeney might just hang on. What an absolute rip of the race. But he's coming down there. Oh my goodness, it's been a change.
Three hundredths of a second, my God. I mean, why waste full to win by a wider margin, right? Cam, talk us through that crazy race, or the end of it in particular.
Yeah, it was such an epic race. We got a really good start and then lost the track position, then it was on for the whole race. And, yeah, it was obviously pretty cool that last lap. Me and obviously the 2 Red Bull cars, and there was no way I was going to let that other brand win. So awesome to be able to get onto the straight beside it, and, you know, the Ford horsepower got me across the line and won it.
Is it true you didn't know you'd won it until they told you on the radio?
No, obviously it was such a tight finish. I had no idea. So my team were too busy celebrating and they forgot to tell me I'd won the race. So I think I got halfway through the cool-down lap before they told me.
Yeah, that horrible team that got you, that car so beautiful for you. So when did you find out? Like how much later? Like how many turns later did you find out?
I think it was turn 4 or 5 of the cool-down lap, so they left me hanging for a fair while.
Dude, give me your mobile number. I'll ring you from home and go, dude, you won it.
You might have a job.
I've got to ask you, I mean, it's a question for all the drivers, but you're the only one wearing a mic, so you get to answer it. That's how this stuff works. But a race like that, for us to watch, it's so exciting. Like, as a spectator, that's how you want to see racing. But as a driver, would you prefer that kind of finish, or would you rather be 20 seconds in front?
Yeah, a great question. Obviously, it's such an epic race, that one, and that clip's going to get played for years to come. But as a driver, I would have just loved to be driving off into the distance, you know, with my hand on the sill, just chilling. But yeah, I won't get many views doing that.
It's just a little old shoemaker just, yeah, no, this race is done. Because Scafey said, I think he said it's just one of the best races he's seen in a very long time, if not ever. And I think the audience would agree, and everyone here, that it is for us, no matter what it is for you drivers, it's exactly how we love to watch racing. And it's always great to see a stampede of Mustangs in the mix at the end of the race. Well, congratulations to you all. If we can give them all a big round of applause and wish them all the best for their season. Good to see you all. Oh, mate, Will Davidson there. I'm glad I don't stand beside him. When I stand next to Will, we look like the number 10. Anyway, now, Will, true story. Speaking of Mustangs, Ford recently announced a big partnership for next season.
That's right. Yep, we've got Jamie Whincup here with us today, and his 888 Racing has such an amazing history in supercars. And we even won a championship together back in 2008, and we're so excited to be racing with them again in 2026.
So they'll put the meat in the pies. Don't worry about that. But what else will you have in store for us down under with Ford Performance in regards to Ford Performance?
There's a lot coming. We're returning back to Formula One next year, and the first race is going to be right back here in Melbourne.
Yeah, we are so thrilled. I cannot wait to see the blue Ford Oval back at Albert Park. Now, you know, I've always dreamed of being a race car driver. You know.
Well, you know what?
What?
You might get your chance, Shane. This is the Mustang Dark Horse R right here. It's a track-only, race-ready beast, and we're planning to bring this down to Australia along with a one-make series Mustang Challenge in 2026 for Australians to race this thing.
Kind of feels like you're asking me to get a team together. Is that what we're saying? Is that what everyone here heard?
Potentially.
Jacobson Racing. Hey, Dick and Jacobson.
First team
Johnson
will sign
Jacobson.
you up.
It's got a ring to it. Now, I'm going to take that as a yes. Now, we've talked a lot about on the track. This is Ranger country. Let's be honest about that. What about off-road racing?
We've got a lot going on. We're off to a really hot start this year. We're racing on 5 continents, from Baja to Thailand to the Saudi desert. And we actually just took a podium at the Dakar Rally with our first year of the new Raptor T1 Plus truck.
Now, while we're talking about this kind of stuff, let's take a look at Ford's off-road warriors. Oh, look at this, look at this. Oh, yeah. That is a mighty off-roader. Let's talk about these.
That's the Ranger that we're taking to some of the toughest off-road races on Earth. It's built to take on the toughest terrains, and it just took the top step at Fink last year, and we're going back to defend the title again this year. It's Australia's toughest truck for Australia's toughest races.
Yeah, we do make it hard out here, but you guys make cars that do it. I've got to ask, why do you guys at Ford punish these vehicles like this?
Well, Rangers customers, they work hard and they expect the same from their truck. So we take these things, put them through the ultimate torture tests in the most extreme conditions so that we know they're ready for anything their customers throw at it.
Yeah, well, they certainly seem ready for an incredible racing season on and off the road. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please hear it for the incredible Will Ford, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks, Mark. Pleasure. Thanks for that deal, too. So, Ranger is definitely making a statement on the motorsport stage, and it's about to make a big statement on the world stage with the incredible innovations that will hit showrooms next month in the all-new Ranger plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Hey, let's welcome Kay Hart, ladies and gentlemen.
See you.
I've got to tell them a little bit about you, Kay. Kay is a former president and CEO of Ford Australia and current president of Ford International Markets Group, but is about to take up the new position as general manager of Ford Model E. Kay, it's amazing to see the changes from the Bandit Ute, which is just down there and so thrilling to have it here, to some of the latest vehicles in Ford's lineup here in Australia, especially Ranger. How do you think Australian innovation has changed Ford?
Thanks, Shane. And I want to start by welcoming all of our international audience that's tuning in live to the live stream. Look, innovation, it really starts with being close to our customers, understanding their needs so that we can develop vehicles, services and technology to help them drive progress. And it's a fundamental approach to the way in which we develop vehicles, and that applies here in Australia and right across the world. And you can really see this in the story of the world's first utility vehicle, or ute, that we just saw there, and that really combined the front of that V8 sedan with the utility tray on the back. And that is a unique Australian story. But the vehicle has now become the foundation stone for what is today the world's biggest selling motor vehicle, the pickup truck or the ute. And we have our own modern day version of this truly iconic vehicle, the Ford Ranger.
Yeah, you see Ranger and Everest all throughout the cities and towns of Australia, but Ford's connection to Australian families has, in my opinion, never been stronger. But it's a broader story than that. It goes well beyond our shores, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Ranger and Everest, now they're developed right here in Australia by our truly world-class design and engineering teams. But they did not just create this for Australian customers. They have met with customers right around the world to understand what they needed. And it's the same approach we take in all of our vehicles. I mean, just look at the lineup. Transits are not created in Australia, but they really meet the needs of our Australian customers. And that's because we listen. We listen to our customers. We challenge ourselves to innovate, to solve for them, no matter where they are. And Ranger is a truly great example. Tested across 5 continents, manufactured right around the world, sold in more than 180 markets, and it's the second best-selling mid-size pickup in the world. It continues to be the best-selling pickup in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Australia, and New Zealand. And outside of IMG, Ranger has been the #1 vehicle in its segment in Europe for 10 straight years, and that includes 9 years in the UK. And of course, Ranger, the #1 vehicle of any kind in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, well done. I mean, Aussies have always been good at punching above their weight, plus everyone from New Zealand, go the Anzacs. And now, just thought I'd add that.
Good ad.
I don't want to get fired by the boss too early. The show's not over. And now, Ranger plug-in hybrid is set to power more Australians to get the job done, if you will, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Ranger plug-in hybrid, that'll launch in Australia and New Zealand and Europe midway through the year. And we cannot wait until people drive it, and so they can really experience all that it has to offer. It truly is another great example of innovation coming from the region to meet our customer needs. Now, we've grown Ranger from humble beginnings to Ford's #2 franchise globally. But Ranger and Everest, truly, they wouldn't be where they are without the hard work of everyone here, of all our manufacturing teams in Thailand, in South Africa, in Vietnam, Argentina, and the US. And today, I just want to say thank you to all of our teams, no matter where you work, for helping to make it such a true global success.
That does deserve a round of applause indeed. Yeah. So we've talked about innovation and ingenuity and, of course, the importance of Ranger. So, Kate, let us in on a secret. What's next?
I am so pleased to share that in just a few minutes, we'll be revealing for the first time ever the all-new Ford Ranger Super Duty. Now, this is the first time that the Super Duty brand has ever been applied to a vehicle that isn't an F-Series. So it's a vehicle that has been created for some of the toughest customers who have the toughest jobs or want to tackle the greatest adventures. We have listened to what those customers want, they have told us they need, and they cannot find it anywhere else. And this great team right here in Australia has delivered. It is a product that breaks new ground. It builds on Ranger for a whole new customer segment, and it goes on sale in Australia and New Zealand in 2026. But I'm also pleased to announce that it will be sold in Thailand and also through our global fleet sales partners to markets right across Asia and Europe. So today, we begin the next chapter for heavy duty, hard-working, industrial-grade vehicles globally. So let's have a look. I am so proud to introduce the new Ford Ranger Super Duty.
We heard you. You wanted a mid-sized pickup with heavy-duty capability. So we spoke to people with heavy-duty jobs. What do you need? What do you want? For the big jobs, extreme conditions, and wild adventures. Then we built what you asked for. A truck that's factory ready for hard work. One that can tow more, carry more, and do more. Introducing Ranger Super Duty. You told us what you wanted, and we built it. We reworked the Ranger from bumper to bumper to take on heavier loads and deliver class-leading towing. We strengthened the drivetrain and armoured the underbody. We gave it a wider stance and greater range to take you where you want to go. And included as standard those mods you'd otherwise have to wait for, so you can immediately fit it with what you need for the job. We tested it to extremes for durability and strength, and kept the things that make Ranger great. Technology, comfort, and driver assist features packaged in a muscled body that can take the most brutal punches. Ranger Super Duty, the heavy-duty truck for the heavy-duty jobs.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That deserves one more round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Yeah. Mate. Now, those are powerful trucks for hard-working people. Joining me now is Todd Willing, an Aussie, who now heads Ford's global design team, and Jim Bornbeck, who led the development of the Global Ranger project here in Australia, and is now Ford's Vice President for Advanced Product Development and Planning. Again, a round of applause. It's the first time we've got a chance to see them. I'm very excited. Well done, mate. Well done, mate. Jim, I'll start with you. What does the name Super Duty mean to Ford?
See, until now, Super Duty has only been part of the F-Series family of Built Ford tough trucks. It's a badge of honor. We don't just put Super Duty on any vehicle. It has to be earned. You only see Super Duty on trucks that do the toughest work in the toughest places on the planet. It's commercial grade, it's consumer friendly, it's designed for purpose and capability. You can almost think of Super Duty as the most capable tool in a customer's toolbox. It all starts with Built Ford tough testing to make sure it can live up to customer expectations. This means more hours testing every single part, extra duty cycles, and durability testing in the most extreme conditions.
Yeah. Now, Todd, as a fellow Aussie, you know we've got a million names for the word tough, but now you've added Super Duty to that list, which ironically was my nickname at high school, but that's all right. What inspired Ford to design a Ranger Super Duty?
Well, Shane, it really comes from observing truck customers, especially those true super users. That always informs our designs. Actually, the early insight for this project came from meeting with fleet managers, and that really highlighted that there was a gap in the market. Our teams met with over 50 companies and public services, really understanding their needs, spending time to arrive at deep insights, and really, essentially living the life of our customers. So in a sense, our team became commercial truck anthropologists. we saw an opportunity to design a vehicle that bridged the gap between what was currently available and really what people were looking and asking for. So it's a vehicle that is the epitome of Build Ford Tough, function-led design, and it really does what it says on the tin. It's a truck that has all the safety and comfort that customers love with Ranger while stepping up the game. It telegraphs elevated purpose and capability in the design.
And Jim, what kind of industries did you consider when creating this? I mean, it really is an all-new vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is tip to tail. We look for the toughest vocational jobs: mining, forestry, emergency services, energy services, anything you could really find. We did ride-alongs with customers. We studied how they use their trucks, how they hacked them to actually meet their needs. And we saw tons of ways to improve the way that they do their work. So we needed a truck, and they needed a truck that could more easily be customized, specific to their job requirements. A truck that could carry more, tow more, and do more in the most challenging places. This is not just a Ranger. This is a purpose-built vehicle straight from the factory. This is not an upfit or somebody other modifying someone's truck. This is right from the factory.
How many Portaloos do you reckon it could tow? Just out of interest. What, 6, 8?
Plenty.
That's a big payload. Sorry, that was my bad. Todd, what are we looking at here? Tell us what we've got here in front of our very eyes here today.
Well, beside us we've got 3 of the body styles that you find in the Ranger Super Duty. So over here we've got the Super Cab chassis, and it's upfitted for agriculture and farming needs, like towing a 3-ton tractor, as you can see there, on a 1-ton trailer, and there's still heaps of payload left for hay in the tray. And over here we've got the hard-working single cab chassis, which we've upfitted for emergency or forestry needs, and it's got a 1,000-litre water tank mounted in the back. And then finally, just further over to the right there, we can see the style side box, double cab, and it's available later in 26, and it's fantastic for tourers and overlanders. So it's got the strength to tow a 4-ton caravan all the way to the depths of the outback.
Room for more hay in the tray. I've got to see that on a brochure. That sounds great. So, Jim, what does all this capability mean for the customer?
It's pretty simple. This added capability can fuel someone's business, but actually it could help save lives. Just think of what it would mean to a firefighting team to carry 1,000 liters of water to hard-to-reach places and allowing them to more efficiently fight fires. With a completely all-new suspension, the Ranger Super Duty has a gross vehicle mass of 4.5 tons. That mass means more water, more emergency equipment, more time on the job to get the job done. We also made sure that it could tow 4.5 tons, which means you can safely haul equipment like these trailers are showing today. And 8 tons of combined gross mass means that the Ranger Super Duty has extreme capability to both haul and carry heavy loads at the same time. Add to that a 130-liter long-range fuel tank. This means that the Ranger Super Duty can take all this gear further to where it's needed the most.
And just to think that me and my mates now can tow a caravan to a campsite and one of our other mates can turn up with 1,000 litres of beer, that excites me. Excites me a lot. Todd, what was your toughest design challenge?
Well, Shane, we know Ranger's obviously a great base to work with, but the Super Duty name really comes with an even higher level of expectation of capability. So it's essential that the design gives you that at-a-glance confidence that it can do more. And we've made extensive changes, always with a focus on being more capable. So the first thing you'll notice is the stance. It's got wider track, bigger tyres, a higher breakover, really to get you through and over much tougher terrain. And then you'll notice our mark of capability, and that's the Super Duty stamped in the hood there. Another signal of additional capability is the taller wing mirrors, and that's really to make sure that you can have a clear view of what's trailering behind you. So inside it has the comfort, safety, and the driver assistance technology that you'd expect from a Ranger.
Yeah, I thought the rest of the Ranger lineup was tough, but this takes it to a whole new dimension, doesn't it? A whole new level. I've got to ask, is there much change between them?
Totally. There's actually more than 100 design and feature differences between the current Ranger lineup and the Ranger Super Duty. I personally believe it's the most badass Ranger that we offer to date. It's pure peak Ranger.
So badass, is that going to be on a brochure?
Well, we'll ask.
Badass, with more room for hay in the tray. It's writing itself right in front of us.
Yeah.
All those changes add up to an undeniable presence as they sit here today. So, Jim, do you think the world is ready for the Ranger Super Duty?
It is. We've been thinking about this opportunity way back to when we reinvented Ranger in 2012. But it really actually goes back further than that when Louis Bant created the first U. Australia needed a vehicle like that at that time, and those needs have only become much more demanding in our current environment. So we're taking the Ranger and making it even better, tougher, more productive. Ranger is the world's second best-selling global midsize pickup. And make no mistake, we got our sights set on number 1. So we're raising the bar with the Ranger Super Duty.
Well, it's fantastic to have you here. It's amazing to have the cars here. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for Jim and Todd. Thank you so much. Well done, mate. It's great. Well done, mate. Fantastic. Well, let's bring out a couple of hard-working Aussies who led this project right here in Melbourne, Australia. Ford, IMG and China Design Director Max Wolf and Chief Program Engineer Dave Byrne. Here they are. Hello, mate.
Right, Shane. Good to see you, mate. Hey. Shane.
So, Max, we'll start with you, mate. One of the things that strikes me is this is a tough vehicle that doesn't seem to compromise on safety and comfort. How did you strike that balance?
That no compromise spirit is what really animated Ranger back in 2010 or 2012, and that's what we're doing now for the heavy-duty commercial market with Ranger Super Duty. Every part of the design is purpose-driven, from the steel or alloy wheels to the larger squared-off over fenders that provide clearance and protection in harsh conditions. And it's got a higher ground clearance and, of course, the frame-mounted steel bumper. And we partnered with the best in the business, like Safari for the snorkel and ARB for the optional front bar. And the dark gridded mesh grille not only looks the business, but is designed for increased airflow and therefore cooling.
They do look tough, and that is important when a bloke's walking into a dealership. Dave, so how do these design elements contribute to the performance of the car?
Yeah, well, they're not just aesthetic. So the increased airflow from the grille really helps to feed the unique cooling system. That keeps things cool under pressure when the thing's off-roading and under significant load. Under that sculpted bonnet, we've got a 3-litre turbo diesel V6, and that's got a unique calibration associated with it. And then everything from the fuel tank to the transmission to the new heavy-duty transfer case is protected with high-strength steel bash plates, straight from the factory.
So, Max, we know Ranger is Australia's favourite truck. That's been established here. How did you design Ranger Super Duty to be the world's heavy work truck?
It was proudly designed and engineered here in Australia. Many of the team who are here today, and also colleagues from across IMG. And we did all sorts of things. We designed the bed with a heavy-duty steel tray to handle the rough treatment. We spoke with heavy-duty fleet operators who told us that they wanted a turnkey solution that meant that they could sidestep the difficulty and expense of aftermarket modifications. And we found that the overwhelming majority of work truck customers are looking for the cab chassis. And in this market, driver assistance technology isn't that common. So we designed the driver assistance technology bar at the rear to ensure that cab chassis customers retain these vital features even when customising their trucks. Plus, we learned from observing customers in the wild and saw that they had created their own hacks to customise their experience with extra screens and devices. And that led us to produce innovations like the integrated device mounting system. It's bolted directly to the vehicle, providing a sturdy place to mount technology like a 4-kilo laptop, for example. And the front-end architecture is designed for easy installation of aftermarket accessories, including lighting systems like you see here, bull bars and winches. This gives our customers the opportunity to customise without losing the technology, comfort and safety that Ranger is known for.
We do love to Frankenstein our vehicles here, but it sounds like you've done all the hard work. Now, Dave, so Ranger Super Duty can carry and tow incredibly heavy loads, as we're seeing here, like as was said in that video. It's a 3.5-tonne tractor and a 1-tonne trailer.
And hay in the tray.
And I just wanted to keep saying it. So tell us about the strengths to get it done.
Yeah, well, simplistically, Ranger Super Duty can tow more, carry more and do more. So importantly, with an 8-tonne combined vehicle mass, it can do both towing and carrying load at the same time. That's a really unique thing. So to achieve this, we strengthened the chassis. So we added strength, we added new suspension, we added new front and rear axles, 8-bolt wheel hubs, and some thicker studs. We gave it a heavy-duty front and rear lock-in differential with a heavy-duty driveline and a unique transfer case as well. And then for the first time, if we talk about features, first time on a Ranger, Ford's onboard scales. So that can help customers estimate their payload really easily via the sync screen. Another first for the Ranger is Smart Hitch, which helps customers monitor the weight of their vehicle's tow ball when they're towing and adjust the trailer load for optimal distribution. And then finally, Ranger Super Duty brings Ford's Pro Trailer Backup Assist technology to the heavy-duty segment. So if I look at it overall, this is all about extending the power and the capability of hardworking people with the safety, comfort and technology features that the Ranger is renowned for, all to the heavy-duty segment.
And you said thicker studs.
8 of them.
Such a coincidence. That was also my nickname at high school, the thicker stud. You've definitely delivered on a heavy-duty truck that can tow more, carry more and do more. Max, how will it feel to see Ranger Super Duty out on the job for real, out on the roads with your own naked eye, so to speak, for the first time in real practice?
It'll feel fantastic. And it'll feel great knowing that we've helped give people a dependable partner to get the job done. A true no excuses truck, so our customers don't have to compromise on all they do for their customers. And Ranger Super Duty looks fantastic and has a great presence here on stage, but it'll look even better at the mine, in the forest or on the job site.
And in the campsite with that 1,000 litres of beer. Guys, incredible work on the all-new Ranger Super Duty coming out next year. Please, let's give them a round of applause on this incredible achievement. Stay with us, guys. Don't go anywhere. Well done, mate. Great. Well done, mate. So stay with us, as I said. We will now bring up the whole team to close this out and launch the next century of Ford. Well done, man. That's a lot. Andrew, I'll leave it with you with any final thoughts here.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. And thanks to everyone for coming up. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and we really appreciate your participation today, and hopefully you've really enjoyed the vehicles. And that's what we do. That's what we love to do. We're very emotional about that. And I also want to thank the Ford family. We've got Bill, we've got Elena, we've got Will, Nick, and thank you so much for coming all this way. We certainly appreciate that. And of course our partners to all the motorsport teams, we've got the Cats, we've got our basketball sponsorship, QRL and Golf New South Wales. So many people that make us a better brand and that we learn from and make us better business people, so we appreciate that. So on behalf of everyone and of all of us here today, I want to thank you for everything, and thank you for everything you do for continuing the story of Ford in Australia. Our team, our dealers, our customers, racing legends, fans and family. You all show so much dedication and passion that reflects both this company and the nation. So please stick around, take a look at what we have here today, enjoy, this is your day. So thank you, and here's to the next century.